All right, guys, we're so glad you're here today. Welcome to our special Thursday afternoon, Thursdays at 3. We're going to do this every Thursday while we're not able to come together as a church. And just excited about you being here. I want you to know we miss you and love you and are thinking about you. We got a great program planned for you. I want to do this. I want to just have a word of prayer and ask God to bless us and to be with us, to bless this program, and to bless us while we're apart and bring us back together soon. And then as soon as I pray, Brother Nathan is going to come up and he's going to lead the program. So let's do that right now. All right, let's bow our heads and ask the Lord to help us. Lord Jesus, we love you. We thank you for this day. I thank you for every one of our young people in our church. I'm so blessed to be their pastor. And Lord, I sure miss them. I wish that we were able to meet on Sundays, but right now, because of the difficult situation with the virus that's going around, Lord, it's safer for us and better for us just to do it now over this live stream. And so I pray you'll bless our young people, bless their families, keep us all safe and well and healthy, and bring us back soon. Lord, we trust you. We know that you're our God and that we're your children, and we thank you for that. Bless this program, and we'll thank you for what you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right. Welcome, my friends, Creation Kids, Sunday School, Children's Church, all rolled up today in one giant taco for us to eat. We're going to have a wonderful time today. I'm so glad you're able to join us. All the kids who come to our class, the kids who perhaps don't get an opportunity to come, who are going to be watching this, we welcome you. We're so glad you're here. We've got a science experiment we're going to do. We've got puppets that we're going to do. Some of the puppets that you guys really like are going to be here. And we're going to be doing this for a couple of weeks. Miss Herring, she has a lesson she's going to be teaching us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're so glad you're with us. We're so glad you get to join us. And we're going to do 3 things every single week as we go along. Right now, we can't meet together because people have been sick and there's the coronavirus and all that stuff going on. So we have the opportunity to bring these lessons to you, to bring the experiments, to bring the puppet shows. We can bring it to you in your home, which is really exciting because then you can still experience this. We can still give these wonderful lessons to you and you don't actually have to get out and come. Now what we want to do is we're going to have a science experiment first, then we'll have the puppet show, and then we're going to have the lesson. So let's take a look and see what we have here. All right, Creation Kids, here we are. You're used to this. We do this every Wednesday night. We have science experiments. We do a lot of fun stuff. We're going to look at a science experiment today and something very, very practical that we can use. We're going to look at basically good reason to wash your hands, and we're going to also look at how surface tension works. It's going to be a lot of fun. What I have here is I have 2 plates. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab a wonderful thing of milk. Doesn't that look tasty? It's barely cold. I'm sure you would like to drink that. It's so good. I'm not going to drink it right now. So what we do is we have some wonderful goat's milk right here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour a little bit into each of these plates, okay? And we're going to do a little demonstration here. Typically, you would not drink milk from a plate. Some of you might at home. I know Nabo loves to do that, like a kitty cat. All right, here we go. So we have our 2 plates of milk. Doesn't that look great? All right, we got our 2 plates of goat milk. Now let's take this here and you can see we've got some pepper right here. If you like pepper, raise your hands. You like pepper? Who here likes salt more than pepper? Never mind, I can't hear you, so don't answer that. All right, we got pepper right here. I'm going to take it and I'm going to sprinkle this pepper out. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pretend like this pepper, you can see it moving around a little bit, it's settling. We're going to pretend like this pepper is germs, okay? If you ever breathe in this stuff, you'll sneeze pretty good. I like pepper, a lot of pepper on my food, I like salt too. So we've got our peppered milk. Doesn't that look tasty? Oh man, this looks so good. Some peppered milk. I cannot wait to dig into this. Peppered milk, let's sprinkle a little bit more on there. And here's our germs. Looks really good. All right. How many of you would like to just take a big sip of that? Look pretty good? Just take your straw here and just sip, start drinking it. So I'm not going to do that, but you can do that at home. So we have our pepper, we've got our milk. The pepper here is going to represent the germs that we pick up on our hands. the germs a lot of times is so small you can't even see them. You don't even know it's there. So you think my hands are perfectly clean, I can touch my face, I can pick my nose, I can do all those things. You should not do those. What we're going to do is we're going to look at how it works. So here's our germs. Now if I take my finger here and I touch it inside, I've got dirt right there. I touch it inside, there's not a lot going on there. And you can see, if you look really close, I've got a little bit of pepper on my finger there. Now, if I come over here and I add something to this that I didn't add to here, I'm going to add soap, okay? So adding soap, what it does is it breaks the surface tension of the milk here, and it's going to cause a very neat reaction that we didn't get over here from my dirty finger touching this. I can move the stuff around, but it doesn't have a big reaction. If I add soap into the equation, then things change. So we'll come over here. I'll take a little bit of soap and I'll add it to my finger right here. I'll move that around on there. Now I've got a soapy finger. Now watch this. We don't see a lot of change over here, but watch what happens with the pepper whenever I place this soap inside here and it breaks the surface tension. Here we go. Ah, magic. Not really. So what happens is the soap here breaks the surface tension and moves everything back. That's one of the important reasons why you wash your hands, okay? Over here, you really don't see anything. I touch it over here, everything moves. Washing your hands does not kill the germs. It lifts the germs off and it moves them off. That's why it's important to wash your hands, keep your hands very clean, scrub your hands a lot. What that does is that lifts the germs off of your hands. The Bible even talks about this. Over and over and over again, God had laws for the Hebrews on how to keep things clean. Did not want people to get sick. It's very interesting when you look down through history, man didn't realize how important it was to wash your hands. People would be sick, and people would be so sick they would die sometimes until man figured out, you look at the Bible, the laws that God put into place, that cleanliness. Okay, so we can see two different things. Here we've got the pepper has moved out. It's moved away. It does not like the soap. Now, if I take that here, and let's try it on the other side here, just so you know, this isn't some crazy trick that Mr. Nathan's doing. Let's add some soap to this one now. Put that there, and notice how it moves all apart. Does not like the soap, and that's a good thing. What we want to do is we want to keep our hands washed, keep them clean all the time. Putting your hands near your face, touching your nose, your mouth, all that stuff, we can see, even though you might not know it, you could have germs on your hands. God talks about this over and over again in the Bible, okay? So now, let's talk about this for 1 second, and then we'll be done with our experiment, and then we got the puppets. All right, so there you have it. There's our little science experiment. It's interesting. You've probably done this before. You've probably seen it before, either on YouTube or you've done it in school or something like that. It's very, very simple. You can use water. I decided to use some milk here so the pepper would really stand out. All you need is some type of liquid. You need some pepper, something light like that. You can tear up paper and do the same thing, and you just need some soap. It's really easy, super simple science experiment that you can do at home, that you can show your parents, you can show your friends about the importance of washing your hands, keeping your hands clean. God gave us our hands. Our hands are incredible, okay? Our hands can do amazing things. Our thumb is so well built. It's such an incredible sculpting tool that God gave us. Our hands are absolutely amazing. Our hands can also be used to do bad things. We know the song, be careful little hands what you do, be careful little eyes what you see, that type of stuff. God gave us these hands. It all depends what we do with those. You can be kind with your hands. You can wave to someone and be nice, give them the thumbs up. You can, all types of stuff you could go through with your hands. Also, you can do mean things with your hands. Still take things, be angry, hit, fight, stuff like that. What we decide to do with our hands is completely up to us. But God gave us these beautiful, amazing hands that we can play with, we can work with, have fun with. We can do all types of stuff. It's amazing what God gives us. We look today at our hands, we see our hands can carry germs. So important that we don't carry those germs around from one person to another, that God talks about in His Word, about making sure that we wash, we're clean. Wash the germs, wash the filth off. Never touch your face with dirty hands. Don't touch your mouth, your nose, your eyes, all that type of stuff, okay? So we remember that. God gave us these amazing hands. I know what you're thinking. This pinky is perfect for picking my nose. Don't do it. Keep your hands washed. Keep them away from your face. Have a lot of fun out there and try this experiment. Show it to your friends, show it to your family, and they'll think it's pretty cool. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Here we have the puppets.
Okay, all right. Today we have with us the puppets. Okay, and so we have with us, I believe we have with us, Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry! Yes! Are you there? Henry.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I've gone blind.
No, Henry.
Where are all the boys and girls?
Henry, turn around.
I don't smell them.
No,
Typically
come
I
on.
can smell. Whoa.
Yeah. Hey,
Miss
Henry.
Herring, where are they? Are they back here? Or...
Hey, how the dog howl? That's Bobby. So here, Henry, I'm going to help you with your arms. So let me
Oh,
help.
careful.
Okay.
Your hands washed.
Yes, wash. Hey there, Bobby Sue. Howdy, dog howl. Hey.
Hey, wait a minute!
Yeah?
Where all them boys and girls?
Wait a second. You've got a little bit some there. There you go. So you had something, a little bit of fuzz there. Okay, where are all the boys and girls?
Yeah.
I've been wondering the
Where are
same
they?
thing myself.
Oh,
I don't see them anywhere.
no. Let me tell you what's happened to the boys and girls. The boys and girls are at home, and all the kids are watching them at home on their computer.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's the Twilight Zone.
No.
Wait a minute. How are they watching them?
It's being taped, and then they're going to see it on their computer at home.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wait a second. Wait a minute. It's being taped. You mean
Yeah.
with like duct tape or scotch tape or masking tape or
Bobby
washing
Sue.
tape?
Are you kidding me? Washing tape? I've never even heard of that before. Listen, this is so embarrassing. Miss Herring, you should know what this is too.
What are you even talking
Yes.
about?
It's called live streaming from out there in TV and computer land.
Oh.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Live streaming, like the kind that my friend Mary Lou and I do when we go to the stream and go swimming, or like when me and my cousin Willie go fishing in the stream. I got it.
No, I don't think you do. Listen, look over there. You see that little camera pointing at us?
See, look, right there.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
That's recording you. So that way the boys and girls sitting at home are watching us right now.
Yeah.
Doggone it.
Yeah.
If that don't beat everything I've ever seen. You mean all them little youngins are watching me?
Yes, every one of them. They're all watching you, staring at the screen. Millions of them. Millions.
Well, hello, boys and girls. And especially hello to the boys. Like Jefferson and Dominic and Jackson and Harper and Nabo
Bobby Sue.
and
No.
Hudson.
Wait.
Bobby Sue, get a hold of yourself.
Bobby Sue.
Oh, sorry. I got carried away.
Listen, we have more important things to discuss here at our time.
More important than boys?
Yes, more important than boys.
Well, what's so important, Mr. Henry?
So I ordered the newest Halo game, Halo 5, and it's not arriving here until Saturday. I'm like, Amazon, what's the problem? Where's my video game?
Mr. Henry, that ain't important. There are more important things than that.
That's right. Tell us what it is.
Well, the first thing I done think of to be important is to pray for our family and for our church family.
Well, now you got me feeling guilty. Listen, I understand what you're saying, and that's very true, Bobby Sue. I guess I can wait till Saturday. It's not that important. And I just thought of something else, Miss Herring.
What else?
We should also pray for our president and our government. There
That's
are
right.
a lot of people who are working very hard, the doctors and nurses, and everybody in positions where they can help people.
You're right, Henry. You're right. A lot of people are making very, very big decisions, and that we need to pray for them. So boys and girls, we need to remember that. We need to pray for those that are in positions of authority, that God would use them to help us during this time. Well, thank you, boys and girls. Henry and Bobby Sue, we're glad to be with y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hi, everyone. We have today a Bible story, and I am so glad to be able to be here and tell it to you. Now, in this story, this is about somebody in the Bible, and it's about the miracles of Jesus. Now, remember, Jesus did many, many, many miracles, but only 35 are mentioned in the Bible, just 35. And of those 35, only 4 are we told their names. And of this is a man named Barnabas. Now, you would think he would have to be pretty important to be mentioned by name, but actually you would be surprised. He's a beggar. He's just a beggar, and he's blind. And yet of the many miracles the Lord did, he is mentioned, and his name is mentioned. Now, the thing about him is that we don't know if he became blind as he got older, or we don't know if he was born blind. But this is what he was reduced to doing. Back then, you had to have your eyes to be able to work, to be able to see what you were doing. There was nothing for a man that was blind that he could do but beg. It was either that or starve. Now, we're told his father's name, so obviously his dad must have been a very important man in Jericho, but I guess his father died. And so now he is on his own, and he's reduced to living on the street and to begging. Now, he lives in a place that is called Jericho. Jericho is divided. You have Old Jericho, which is the old city, and then you have New Jericho, where they've been building new buildings, new stores. It's just like here in Cuna. Here in Cuna, we have Old Cuna, and then we have a road that leads to the New Cuna, newer stores, newer buildings, newer suburbs. Well, Barnabas was right here. This was the perfect place to beg, because when people went from this part of the city to this part of the city, this is the road they traveled. And so, as he was there, a lot of times when somebody is handicapped and him being blind, people would hear him begging, or they would hear his cup rattle, and they knew he was asking for money. Sometimes they would ignore him, and sometimes they would just walk past him like he wasn't there. To his advantage, he heard all sorts of conversations. He could hear if it was children coming. He could hear if it was adults. He knew if somebody was walking slow, if they would give him money, or if they would not. But during the time of Jesus' ministry, which had been 3 years, as it was coming to a close, over and over again, he had heard stories. He heard stories how Jesus had healed the blind, and the deaf could hear, and people that were crippled could walk. And it occurred to him, as a child, as he listened to all of them tell about Jesus, he remembered. He had been taught as a boy, probably by his father, that the Messiah would come, and this Messiah would be of the lineage of David. When they say that Jesus is the son of David, they don't mean directly his son, but they mean of his lineage, that he was the promised Messiah. This promised Messiah, this King Messiah, who would heal those that were crippled and those that were blind and those that could not hear. And he remembered that. And he thought, if this Jesus, son of David, the promised Messiah, if he ever comes into my city, into Jericho, I'm going to ask him to heal me of my blindness. Well, one day, as he was there begging on the street between the two, the old Jericho and New Jericho, he heard people coming. He could hear all the footsteps coming. And he thought, what is going on? Who's in our city? As they rushed by, he could hear the people talking, and as it is with most crowds, it got louder and louder. And finally he called out, maybe even grabbed somebody's clothes or robe and said, who is this? Who is coming? Who's in our city? Is it somebody important? I hear a crowd. And they said, yes, it's Jesus. This was his opportunity. He was so excited. He was going to ask him, but how is he going to ask him? There's a large crowd of people. They're all making noise. He's down here on the ground. Jesus wouldn't see him. Even if he stood up and waved his arms, Jesus wouldn't see him. He's going to miss his opportunity. He began to panic. And so you know what he did? He began yelling and screaming. And he said, Jesus, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And it got louder and louder. Well, the people in the town, this was embarrassing. I mean, they had this honored guest come to their town, and here it is, he is yelling and screaming. Oh boy, they're probably thinking, okay, we'll give you money, shut him up. This is embarrassing. The town beggar is over there screaming, yelling, shut him up. They tried to get him quiet. But as this whole multitude of people were moving, suddenly Jesus stopped. And when Jesus stopped, everybody else stopped. People probably wondered, why are we stopping? Why are we stopping? Jesus said, go get Barnabas and tell him to come to me. They said, come, he wants to see you. They brought him to Jesus. And I imagine everybody stopped. Everybody stopped talking. They brought him to Jesus. And Jesus said, what would you have me do for you? Doesn't that seem rather interesting that he would ask him that? I mean, it's obvious he's blind. Of course he would want to be healed of his blindness. But you would be surprised. Sometimes when people come to Jesus, they want their situation to be better. They necessarily don't want their sins to be forgiven or God to change their heart. They want the change to be in their circumstances. He could have said, I don't want to live on the street anymore. I want a house. I don't want to beg anymore. I want money. I'm tired of being poor. I want somebody to take care of me. Do you realize when he said, I want to receive my sight, he would still be poor. He would still not have the things he needed. But it didn't matter. That's what he wanted. He wanted to see. And he said, Lord, that I may receive my sight. And the Lord put his hands on his eyes. And he saw. He was healed. He just jumped up and down. He was rejoicing. He was so excited. He was so excited. For the first time he saw a blue sky. He knew it was a sky, but he didn't know it was blue. The sun was on his face, but he didn't know it was yellow. He could hear the birds, but he didn't know what they looked like. He was so excited. He could see. He could see. And so you know what he did? The Bible, this is important because in 3 times it tells us about this story, and each time this story ends by telling us something very important. It said he followed Jesus. He didn't say, oh, good, thanks, I'm out of here. Jesus went on and he followed. He wanted to be with them. He wanted to follow him. This is so important. When we have Jesus in our heart, you know the next thing we're supposed to do? We're supposed to follow him. How do we do that? We follow him by being obedient to him, by coming to church, by listening to his word, by doing what his word says. This is a wonderful story. You would think if you were to tell a story of somebody that was healed, maybe it would be somebody important. No, it was a blind beggar. It was a blind beggar who could see what the others couldn't. And that Jesus was the Messiah, God's Son, who would come to save the world from their sins. I'm so glad that you're able to be here with us for our Bible story. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Okay? Bye-bye.